This Thursday, Unmasked is going to return to Comics Comedy Club for Janine Garofalo. She's a special Unmasked guest. That's this Thursday, 3:30 p.m. You want to be part of the studio audience? Here's the email address, live@xmradio.com, live@xmradio.com. Put in the subject heading, Janine Garofalo.
I've even got a certain question for first question. What kind of name is Janine? Isn't it Jean or Jane? But why Janine?
Yeah, it's kind of spelled like Jane Ain.
Yeah. And then I'll just say, okay, thank you. Thanks for being on Mass. That'll be the end of it. Ron, we got another 59 minutes to go. All right, did I ask you the Janine question? You did.
Can I ask her about, she interviewed Eddie Vedder one time for, I think it was Spin magazine.
That's the best thing, to ask people about other people. That really means you have no interest in them at all. When somebody comes in and did a movie with someone. Oh, you're in a movie with Nick Cage. What was that like, knowing Nick Cage?
Yeah.
That's what we did to that fucking kid we had to battle with. My initial question was, so, Nick Cage, is he crazy or what?
Oh, yeah, he was a prick.
It means that you have zero interest in that person. None.
Yeah, I suppose that's like one of they say the journalist questions. Don't say that, and don't ever ask after like a team's won or something. How do they feel?
You know, I had just heard this yesterday. Somebody told me that you act like, because you took one course, everything there is to know about journalism, and how the first paragraph should be most of the information.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's the case. But I didn't take one. I took several courses. I thought I was going to follow my gay brother. Right.
Well, you did. Was sticking stuff up your ass.
Just not writing.
No, I used to write for quite a long time. I took a lot of journalism, newspaper courses, writing for TV.
Well, why don't you write us up an article, Scoop? That could be something you do.
All right, I'd love to. I'd love to write up an article.
Yep.
You know, but what happens is
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a break and we'll come right back.
Okay.
And you will interview somebody from the show.
Okay.
And I want it to be a very interesting interview.
All right, that's cool.
Who of us do you want to interview? You got Fez, you got me, or you want to do Earl, don't you? You don't have the confidence level.
No, I'd like to do Fez, I think.
And this will be a real interview.
Yes. I
don't want it to be silly questions.
No, I'm not.
What are you worried about?
Hold on.
What are you worried about?
Change it?
You can't do you can't unmask Fez Watley?
I'm debating going between Ron or Fez.
I'll fucking destroy you in an interview.
Okay, I'm going to go with Fez. Fez will be my interview.
All right, I'm going to leave and let you guys do the next hour as an interview.
The whole hour?
That's how you unmask. What do I get, a 5-minute unmasking?
Well, I mean, that's broadcasting.
I thought you had journalism class.
I know, broadcasting interviews are slightly different, but I'll
in what way? You don't get to go to their house and write that? I hate an interview where the first thing is how the person got there. I caught the plane at Phoenix. Before I knew it, we're up in the air. And I'm like, I thought I was reading about you and Sean Penn. Sean Penn's rolling down the driveway at Sean Penn's house. I noticed that the lawn was so manicured. Shut the fuck up and talk about the goddamn movie with Sean Penn. All right, we're going to break here, Fezzy. And we're going to come back to one-on-one with Dave McDonald. It's the Ron and Fez Show. Yeah, but it's the Ron and Fez Show. We don't normally allow things to get in the way of what our show is, but you've got an interview coming up, Fez, and I'll just try to sit in the back here and try to listen to it. But who's interviewing you tonight?
This is, let's see here, this is a David McDonald.
For The Advocate. He's
Yes.
going to be stopping in, talking to you in just a bit. Now, is this a shoot or a work with you, Fez? Are you going to treat it like it's an interview, or are you going to mock him out?
I think I'd like to mock him out.
All right. Now, I don't know if Dave is listening, but this is something that some people attempt to do in an interview situation. And we can see if he'll engage you.
Okay.
Or whether you'll keep those defenses up.
All right.
But you right away see it as a competitive thing?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Why would that be?
The fact that he feels he can reveal me, he can get my character out of me.
Why is it a negative?
It's not. It just seems like a little game of mental chess here.
But why would it be? You've agreed to do an interview, and we'll see how it goes. All right, here comes Dave McDonald from The Advocate.
Nice to meet you, Dave McDonald.
Look, no, I'm not hanging.
No one's shaking hands with you.
Not shit hands.
You're a Fez Watley?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, shit on your hands last week, and we still are not shaking them.
Well, no, he's in character.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy. He's Dave now. All right, I'll stay out of the way, you two kids.
Okay.
I'll just be over here doing some work.
Fez Watley. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Heard a lot about you.
You seem much older in person.
Let's start
with that
from
haircut.
Let's start from the beginning. Fez Watley. Is that your real name or?
That is my name. That's the name I use. Fez Watley.
That's your real name. Okay.
That is my name.
All right. Childhood. Let's get to you as a child. I'm wondering, you're a professional broadcaster.
Right.
How do you think your childhood affected you in what you do comedically wise? Had any influence at all?
My family owned a radio, so I think that's probably the biggest influence.
But in terms of your upbringing, do you think that it manifests itself in any way of how you perform on the air?
You mean the talking part? Because yes, I did learn to talk very young.
Okay. What inspired you when you were younger? For this article, I'm focusing on what makes you tick and how you came to be Fez Watley radio star. What was the first kind of memory you have of laughter, of enjoying someone else's comedy?
I was probably a rattle that someone shook in front of me, and I probably started laughing then. That's probably the earliest laughing memory I have.
That doesn't seem like a real answer. I mean, I'm talking about a performer.
You asked what my first memory of laughter was.
I was talking.
I'm sure it was, maybe my father holding me or something.
I was really trying to get about entertainers, different sort of, performers, professional performers, whether in radio or stand-up comedy or sitcom stars. Anything that, anything is right here.
So from when I was young?
Yeah.
All right. Captain Kangaroo seemed to be really big into that.
Okay.
Enjoy Captain Kangaroo.
How do you think your comedy tastes have progressed from Captain Kangaroo?
I don't understand the question.
From Captain Kangaroo, okay, you can even let's take you through teenagedom. Your teenage years.
My teenagedom?
Your teenage years. What exactly
is this your adult dumb?
What were you into your teenage years? Let's go with that. Anything comedy-wise?
Basically just watching sitcoms. That was about it.
Do you think that any sitcoms or sitcoms character have subconsciously influenced how you perform on the Ron Fez show?
Yeah, probably Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH has probably influenced me the most.
All right. What was the first job, Mr. Watley? What was one of your first jobs in life of all time?
Hand.
I heard somewhere you worked on a car. You were a car salesman. Could you elaborate on that?
Am I supposed to fill in the blank here? Car.
You were a car salesman. Please elaborate on that experience, if you would.
I worked on a car lot. I parked cars and I washed them.
Mm-hmm. And did that give you any motivation? I mean, how do you think that motivated you or didn't motivate you to go from someone who washes cars into talking in front of millions of people on the national level? Is quite a big evolution. I'd be curious to hear about that.
Millions.
It motivated me by not wanting wet feet.
Who's that again?
Oh, I'm Ron.
That's Ron Bennington.
I'm the guy that feels as bored as the listeners. I represent the bored audience.
These are good questions. Okay, Fez Watley, we've heard.
Let me just step in for you.
Sure.
Number one, you already instead of doing an interview, you get an adversary, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I do. I don't feel...
So why, when you first work at putting him at ease, Fez, why would you see him as an adversary?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Because it's any sort of personal question like that. Now, even if it's not, so personal, it feels like prying.
But it's an interview.
Yeah, it is an interview.
True.
So do you think when I do an unmasked, it's prying?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm just saying the way I feel.
Right. So you would never feel comfortable doing an unmasked episode with me?
No, I probably wouldn't. No.
That's a shame. I think
it makes me feel really bad about the program I do.
I think people.
I'm a prior.
Yeah, and people want to hear.
No, not at all.
You're not.
No, it's me having trouble opening up about things.
Absolutely not. You sat around and opened up the whole last break. You're a very open person.
Right, but I don't know. It just, what it comes down to? Mm-hmm. It feels like, and here's a problem I have. It feels like there's going to be wrong and right answers.
But why would, all I would be looking for is to find out how you create, what your interests are.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that something that you think would be worth sharing with people?
Yeah, that would be worth sharing, yeah. But I just...
I want to go back to you, Dave.
Yeah.
I want you to see what I did with him.
Yeah.
Look at the way that he's behaving differently.
Okay.
Because I came in and let him know, I'm not here to hurt you.
Right.
I'm here to help you share with other people.
Okay.
You came in, you had an adversary, right?
Yeah.
And you paid no attention. You had some
Right.
pre-written questions.
I was trying to soldier on in hopes that he would ease up as the interview progressed.
Do you think it was going to, or was he just barreling in tighter?
I thought he might be opening, but yeah, towards the end he barreled in. But I think, yeah, you're right. I should try and...
You should have eased him a little bit.
Yeah,
and let him know
could.
that you're not here to take something from him, but you're here to help him express himself.
I am. What I'm here to do is try and show what are the inner workings of Fez, but really specifically, I'd be curious, and so would millions of my readers, to know where are the inner workings of Fez's comedy. Because
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you know that you just used the word inner workings?
Right.
You just used the worst fucking phrase you can with him.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to what he's saying.
Right.
See, and Dave, there's a difference. Dave sounds like an inquisition, because it is
He
one...
sounds like you got pulled over by a cop.
Yeah, it's one question after... It's not conversational.
Right.
All right.
Like, in a very conversational way, yeah,
By
I
the
could
way,
probably be unmasked.
I made the Z-Man throw his fucking pages away, too. It was the worst interview ever. We had a really nice conversation, and then it was interview time, and he started to read, and his eyes would dart around. And then he asked me, you were on the air at 9/11, right? And I started to tell him about it, and he was like, yeah. Yeah, and not paying attention, And he's going look, we better change. And then finally I'm like, look, I can't fucking... in this, get rid of your questions, and made him throw his questions around and just talk to me. And he's still a really bad interviewer, but he doesn't know it. He thinks he's great.
He totally does.
Yeah.
Okay, Fez. Let's throw out the questions. Let's start as pals. Okay, let's start the way we could be. All right.
Now it sounds like you want something from me.
No, I don't. All I want you to be is comfortable. And I want to be, I hope this is a fun chit-chat. Okay.
Chit-chat makes me feel uncomfortable, but okay.
Let's talk about right now. Fuck all that childhood nonsense. It's just me and you talking, shooting the breeze. Comedy. What do you like? What do you don't like? Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Comedy. No, come on.
You know that you're a bad interviewer, right?
Mr. Journalism.
That's why you panicked. You realized this is a really bad interview. And on the other side, Fez, you are going to have the worst fucking thing written about you.
Yeah.
You feel really strong now. You're going to fucking read an interview about what a tight-ass prick and you are being defenseless. So you really have, once he's in your life, you're going to have to fucking deal with him. On some level,
Right, yeah.
And your wise-ass answers are going to get crushed because we won't, when we're reading the interview, we're going to be on his side immediately. It's his account.
Yeah.
So this is how
And
you
his
read
point
stuff.
of view.
And you're going, what a dick Tom Hanks is. Kept rushing the guy along. I mean, it happens all the time.
I know. We're just talking as friends. I mean, as colleagues. That's the way I think of it. All right. Let's talk about you on the air. How about that?
Okay.
Just give me an unpleasant experience. Well, just give me
This interview.
Now, again, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what makes you tick.
You won't. You won't get off of that one.
And he's still reading, Ron. He keeps looking at his page.
Look, Fez does not want to expose the bottom of what makes him tick. You have asked him, you might as well go like this. Let's take a look at your dick hole. Let me get a magnifying glass and hold it up to your dick hole and take a picture.
Okay,
For the cover
here we go. Let's take this seriously now.
of The Advocate.
Fez Watley sitting down here, just having a good time.
Yes.
Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? Do you have to be love to write a love song?
You think you're a people person?
I'm probably not a people person.
Okay, and why do you think that is? I mean, tell me exactly what made you that way.
Tell me.
I know.
Tell me exactly everything that's wrong with you.
These are the questions I ask my therapist about myself. Not that I can answer. If I can't answer them in therapy yet, I can't answer them for you.
Well, think. God damn it.
Give me something, you boring prick. This is literally the worst interview I've ever heard.
It's really bad.
All right, here we go. Fez.
Yeah, you're still looking at that paper.
No, I'm not. That's nothing right. Okay, here we go. Fez. Fez, when you, in the day, okay, the day goes from midnight to midnight. What hours are you happiest? What hours do you feel good? You feel like, hey, I'm Fez Watley. I'm having a good day.
It's been a while since I could pick out a time frame when I feel good.
Oh. Okay, but if you had to guess. No, I mean, do you? Okay.
So you're not accepting my answer.
No, I am. It's been a while, and that's I'm sad to hear that. Do you think you could turn it around?
I'm hoping
Are you really
to.
this bad of a fucking journalist?
See, why don't you tap out and admit you know nothing about journalism?
I do.
I always say this. I'm hearing a bad interviewer with a bad interviewee. I have never heard anyone more defensive as an interviewee. Why did you ever say you would do this article with The Advocate?
It was a mistake.
It's rough. He's really, But again, I'm just here to help you. I'm here to expose your talent.
Expose!
Yeah, it was the wrong choice of words.
Yes!
We're back to the dick hole.
And the thing is, all you do is the wrong choice of role. The best thing that you do is put stuff in your ass. That's the only reason that you would be on the radio.
No, come on. These are very valid questions. People want to know about Fez.
Again, that is something to drive him into a hole.
All right.
People want to know about you. That is something that you have somebody who's defensive, right?
Yeah.
And everything that you're saying is making him more defensive.
Okay, let's get off on the right foot here. Fez Watley, what's something you like about yourself? What? Come on, but let's be serious here and do the interview. What's something that you like about yourself? You go home and say, God damn it, I just really like that about me.
I don't go home and say those things. I don't go home and say those things. If you're looking for some insight, I don't do that.
Okay, how about this? What's something that...
Now, why wouldn't you follow that up? Why would you now? For the first time ever, he gave you something that was honest about him.
I was going to say.
And instead of staying with him, you're not even matching his tonality.
No.
You went, let's go somewhere else. you literally said, this isn't working with your tonality.
Yeah.
And you tried to jump into another crazy exposed question. Okay. But he gave you the first honest answer.
No, you're right.
And I'm not giving him the answers he wants as an interviewer for some reason.
That was interesting. So what is it? Why do you go home and are so sad?
Then why go home?
No, really. What do you think?
Look at his crazy eyes. You've stopped focusing.
Okay, Fez Watley.
Why do you keep saying his name over and over like that?
Yeah.
Make
it
you
feel
think
important.
No, How does that make you feel when he says Fez Watley over and over?
Like I'm on the witness stand.
And remember your first question, what's your real name?
Okay. But Fez, just having a good time here, talking about stuff.
That is stupid. That sounds as bad as any overnight DJ in Jersey. You get another 5 minutes here.
Okay. What's something that you do well when you're on the... What's something that you like to do on the show? On the Ron Fez radio show?
Let's see. I like to interact with everybody on the show.
No, that's interesting. Because a few questions ago, you said you weren't a people person. So do you find that to be conflicting? And if so, how does it influence your job?
Well, the accusations are flying now.
No, I'm not. I'm just, I'm trying to understand you because you said you're not a people person.
I'm not a people person in the sense of, being comfortable around a lot of strangers. I'm not naturally gregarious.
Okay, so why do you think it's different when you're on the air that you can engage people?
Because there I have people that I know, people that I love, people that I trust, and it's easier for me. It's like being with friends or family.
But are you at home? Okay, say you go someplace and you have friends and you have a stranger there. Are you able to communicate with that stranger off the air?
The worst interview. That's what you think people would want to read?
They want to hear this stuff. Fez, just having a fun time here.
Why do you always say that weird
I'll
thing?
try to make him good.
Fez, just having some fun. Rolling along.
Fez, what
You're the worst interview.
No, hold on. Wait, I think I got something here. Fez, what CD is in your CD player right now?
It is the last U2 album. And I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it.
The bomb, something. How to save the bomb. How to get rid of the bomb.
Dismantle.
How to dismantle the atomic bomb.
Is that the one in your changer?
You know what? It's the one before that. Sorry about that.
All that you can leave behind.
Yeah, that's it.
And how regularly do you listen to that album?
Is that what is really the key to him? How many times he's listening to the same album over and over?
I thought I might get some insight into how he thinks. I mean, some people would say that's a sad album.
I listened to it last weekend, and it's probably the first time in, 9 months that I've probably had it in the CD player.
That was a sad weekend for you, right?
Yeah.
When is that? You said you had a very sad weekend.
Yeah.
Did you keep listening to that album?
I only listened to a couple of songs on it.
What songs?
Stuck in a Moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think. Beautiful Day.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when that album came out? What you were doing at that time?
Oh, yeah, I do.
What's that?
That was 9/11.
So you're having a sad weekend, and you find yourself sitting around listening to a lot of music that you were listening to around the time of 9/11.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Wonder if there's any correlation there, why you had such a sad weekend. Now, it would be a question, would you listen to the music first, or when you feel sad like that, do you want to go back to your 9/11 feeling?
Mm-hmm. Those are good questions. No, I was going to ask.
It's not so much the questions, I was paying attention to.
Yeah, no.
I was listening to them.
Yeah. Do you think that music or movies stimulate certain emotions from you?
I don't.
Why do you talk like you've never used the English language before?
What do you mean?
You're not talking like yourself.
You try to be professional.
Do you know anything about psychology?
I'm trying to be
You
professional.
just talk to me like I'm a lab rat.
No, this is my professional.
Have my emotional responses been stimulated in my rat brain?
No, not at all.
You think he's a rat brain?
No, absolutely not.
If you think he is, just say so.
No, I don't.
Just say I'm interviewing a rat brain.
No. I think his brain is a lot more complex than that of a rat's.
Thank you.
So, in the end...
The love you take is equal to the love you make.
In the end, why he's still on the radio? what about radio still excites you? Why do you come to work every day?
Why are you yelling?
Why are we so angry now?
That wasn't anger. That was like excitement.
That was your pep talk?
That was my excitement, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I still love coming in here every day, and I love working with Ron.
It's a good answer.
Not really. It's not a good answer. It's still a defensive answer. Why do you love it? Because I love it. Why do you still come here? Because I love it. You're not finding out his real motivation.
Yeah.
He gave away a little bit. I like working with Ron. What is it about Ron?
Why do you like working with Ron? Why?
But why? You make it seem like there's something crazy and mysterious, like you're interviewing a Martian rather than another human being.
All right.
I can't believe they gave you a diploma. I never walked inside a classroom in my life, and I know that you're wrong.
Right. No, I mean, what is it about Ron that you like, Fez?
Here's what I'm saying.
No.
It's not so much that you're a bad journalist.
Yeah.
You're a bad human being. You are not
That's
a very
what it
good
is.
human
That's
being.
a broad statement.
No, it's one that needs to be said.
I don't think just because you may disagree on my journalistic skills,
Everyone does.
across the board, mean I'm a bad person. All right, Fez. Well, I think we learned a lot here, and
I'll disagree with that.
thank you very much.
I don't think we learned anything about Fez during this.
Well, no,
And I agree that Fez was being a prick at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
But that's, I would have called them out on why did you what are you hiding? Why no one's forcing you to do this interview,
Right.
and what scares you about it?
Yeah,
And
that
I
did
can
me.
understand completely a guy who wants to, is afraid of giving up the things that he thinks he's going to give up in an interview. He thinks he's got things to hide. Right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he thinks he has things to hide. I should be saying, "Don't worry about hiding anything."
Well, you don't say that. I wouldn't say don't worry about hiding anything, because if he brings up something like I killed a nun when I was 14, you're going to put that in the article.
Yeah.
So you don't know what he has to hide or not. But it would be interesting to see why he's so defensive and what you could do to match him a little bit. You were an adversary with him the entire time.
Yeah. See, I thought originally I should just keep going with the questions and then he'll loosen up. It's almost to ignore it, but that probably wasn't the best strategy.
You didn't have that much time in this situation. Maybe
Yeah.
if you had 3 or 4 days with him, but you knew you were on a type time thing. But some other people would go, they do those type of interviews where they're yelling at the person that they're with. A, you would have been outmatched with him for that. He's a lot quicker than you. But B, it is interesting to see why he wouldn't even want to do this for fun. Why, even on a fun thing, he would think it would be more fun to mock Dave,
right,
than it is to see whether Dave can interview or not.
Yeah, to take my interview seriously.
So when you did that, Fuzzy, was it done aggressively to hurt him?
Not aggressively to hurt him. More of a defensive thing, I think. Because I think if I had gotten into it with him, and even some of the things that I did answer with him, I probably would have ended up crying or something.
You would have cried talking about your career.
Not about my career, but but he asked, 24 hours a day, what do you do, that sort of thing.
Obviously terrible fucking questions.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You've been unmasked. Right. I don't ask people what they do in the middle of the night. I don't ask people, how many women did you fuck? I'm not going to do it. It's stupid, those questions.
Yeah.
A, who cares? What is the really interesting thing about Fez?
The really interesting thing about Fez is he's such a dilemma, because he's so fun to be around, but then he seems to have these antisocial issues off the air, and that's such a complex situation.
So that's the most interesting thing about him.
Well, it's just like
you.
how can someone be so funny and amazing on the air, and then off the air not seem to be as happy as he could be.
You think
he's
there's
so talented.
You think there's something original about that? You've never read about funny people before?
No.
That struggle with
I guess not.
Some of them light themselves on fire and run down the street. Other people become, alcoholics or junkies. I mean, is what you're asking a unique thing? If anything, he's probably in the tradition of great funny men. So what would be any reason at all to talk to Fez?
Oh, because of the things he does. Because he's a great performer. That would. But
you never ask him one question about performing.
Oh, I tried.
And guess what? That's the one thing that he can feel passionate about. You know, you didn't ask him about specific bits. You didn't even say what, you know, if you look back over the era, what are some of the things that you're really proudest of, you know, to set maybe the table there a little bit. And why not let him bring up some of the things that he's not happy about before you got into it?
Yeah, well, I guess that chronology was a bad choice on my part.
They passed you in this journalism course?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I tried to get into some of the performance aspects. I mean, I was asking him, you know, how his childhood might be affected how he performs on the air, if at all.
You said, how does your childhood have anything to do with how you perform any day? Could you imagine a single person answering that question?
I guess not.
I can't imagine that anybody would go into any job and think, well, this isn't much different than when I was 5 years old and I found out my father was murdered. That is so fucking hackneyed and awful. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I think that was one.
You were taking him the questions no human being would have the answer for without years of therapy. And that was your initial question.
I think that was one that I had to ask. Please ask that again. I have no idea what you mean.
And then the other thing is, I think you came in with a couple assumptions rather than trying to find it out. You were prejudiced by what you knew about him. So you're like, I'm going to try to figure out while he's unhappy at home. But he never told you that.
No.
You've got your own prejudice of things that you knew before you came in.
Yeah.
So during the interview, you did not find out why he's happy at home. Now, let's suppose there's people listening to the show. They don't know as much about Fez Whatley as you, right?
Right.
So you need Fez to fill them in on who Fez Whatley is and what he's up to before you get to you're not happy at home.
Yeah. Well, some of my early questions, that was the problem with not doing
Your problem is some college took your mom's money. That's the problem, and that's the lawsuit you should be taking.
Well,
that they owe your mother this money back.
I graduated from the Great Monmouth University.
How many years in?
No problems. I graduated when I was 27 or...
So 9 years?
Well, I wasn't.
You got a 9-year degree.
It wasn't concurrent, or... I wasn't 7 years concurrent. Like, I took a couple years off here and there.
To what, travel Africa?
No.
Sabbatical?
Work in an Irish bar.
I say.
Drink.
Yeah.
To become a student of people.
So you wanted to take 1 year off to black out. Right. Just get a nice blackout year going.
Lasted about 2 or 3 years working at an Irish pub.
God, is your life a waste.
What? I'm going to brush up on my interviewing skills. And I mean, this was my first celebrity interview, you know, so I've never...
It's going to be your last. The Advocate will not ask you back. You might have a chance with Penny Saver.
No.
What do you do to save pennies? That'll be the questions you're fucking asking.
Well, listen, I had far less problems when I very informally interviewed Oliver Stone at
no, you didn't interview
my
him.
brother's college.
You bothered him. That's a big difference. It's a big difference bothering somebody and then interviewing him. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Fez, would you be more comfortable as the interviewer or the interviewee?
Wow, that's a tough question. Probably, as awkward as this was, probably still the interviewee.
No, why would that be?
Because I think I would have a lot of trouble. I would have trouble with, like, follow-up questions. Mm-hmm. You know, like, maybe, like, the whole making it conversational. I would have that problem as well. Of, like, going off on something.
Why don't you try Davey Mack now? We'll flip the script. Go ahead and interview Davey Mack.
All right, Dave McDonald is here with us.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for doing this interview.
It's my problem. It's no problem at all. My pleasure is what I meant to say.
All right, Dave McDonald, being called one of the breakout stars of XM202.
Yeah.
Now, is there things that you've done? You've had your head shaved. Mm-hmm. You stick things in your ass.
Yes.
Is there anything you won't do?
Fez, I don't want to do anything to the tip of my cock. That's nothing that, I think a guy needs to do.
So there are limits for you.
Yeah, anything that would do permanent damage to.
Now look how he's a better interviewee than you are. But you also did what I call the Charlie Logan. Let me tell you what you've done.
Oh yeah,
you've shaved your head. Charlie Logan always used to do this. We used to work with him at YNF, and he'd be like this. Bob Dylan in studio, and of course he never got Bob Dylan. It would be some bad fucking Eddie Trunk, glam rock band. But he'd be like this: Bob Dylan, you were born in Minnesota, moved across the country to the Village in New York City, where you started writing songs and performing at coffee houses there.
How are you supposed to answer
yes.
that?
Yes is the every answer. No, the only answer you would have is yes. And he's trying to say, I've done my research, and I'm going to tell it to you.
Right.
And and I used to sit at home and crack the fuck up at just how long his statements would be. He did not ask questions. He gave statements. Earl, you used to interview a little bit too, right? On your weekend show?
Yeah, I did the public affairs show on WNEW in New York.
And what was that? What kind of people would you interview?
A lot of community leaders, like head of charity organizations.
Would you
like
prep
that.
your questions first?
Oh, yeah. I tried to prep as much as I can. But more often...
Even though you knew nobody was listening?
Yeah. But on that off chance that someone was listening, I wanted to do a good job with it. And I just wanted to make everyone who was listening at least comfortable with it. And
how did you think Dave did as an interviewer?
Dave, he came in, he was like a bull in a china shop. He just put him on the defensive from minute one, and there was no comfortability there.
Yeah. And when you did those things that you had too, you always had uncomfortable people, right? People that weren't used to doing interviews.
People that weren't used to doing interviews, and you're talking not more often than not about really like horrible things. You're talking about cancer and like cystic fibrosis. I mean,
you ever ask them what's their funniest cancer story?
I never got uncomfortable. But you're extracting things out of them that you would think wouldn't feel comfortable talking.
Remember
about.
when you were in the Beatles? That was to me the funniest sketch ever when he used to fucking do that.
Oh, it's priceless. With Scorsese. He got Scorsese. He had the best guests, too.
Yeah.
Scorsese, Paul McCartney.
What did he say to Scorsese? Remember when you...
Remember that scene in the movie Goodfellas where they beat that guy in the bar?